Many of you have likely heard of Passover before, but if you haven't, or maybe you just never knew the meaning, it tracks all the way back to the Old Testament. And I'll give you the Cliff Notes version as we wrap up here this morning. God, he tells Moses to go and tell Pharaoh his famous line, right? Let my people go. And so Pharaoh says no. So God decided to respond to Pharaoh's rebellion by sending 10 plagues to convince him to let his people go. And the final plague was he was going to strike down the firstborn of the Egyptians, and God would pass his judgment of the sins of the people. But there was one thing that could protect you from this judgment, and it was the blood of an innocent lamb. And so when these families, they would take a lamb, and they would sacrifice it, they would eat the meat, and they would take the blood of the lamb and they would put it on the doorpost, on the top and on the sides. And then God would pass over the home because that family was saved by the blood of an innocent lamb. And truthfully, this might seem completely weird and unjust and unfair, but what I want to point out is all the way back in the book of Exodus, we see the foreshadowing of Christ. Point number 3 is this: Jesus is the final sacrificial lamb. The blood of the lamb would drip down the wooden posts of the door. And it was a foreshadowing of another innocent lamb who would shed his blood that would drip down a wooden cross for the forgiveness of our sins.